Next up are these three items. These containers with random stuff in them. This is a good sized lot of drill bits. A few of these in here, but the majority of them are these really, really small ones. So these are Cleforge, so these are a good brand. And this is high speed steel, but I mean the sizes we're talking about here. This is a number 79. So just to give you an idea of how small a number 79 drill bit is. Believe it or not, that's a drill bit. Oop. So I actually thought at first that this tube was almost empty, but there's actually quite a few in there, and they're just kind of stuck to this little inner, like rubberized piece. I don't know if that, maybe that's by design, they make them that way so that they don't get lost. All right. Took me a couple minutes with the magnifier to find the ones that I did drop. They're so small. Yeah, so I'm not going to open up any more of these. Some of them, all right, so like these are a little more reasonable in size. You can actually see these. These are number 61s. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, with thread stops. Oh, yeah. This is cool. This is a nice thread stop extension. So if you've got something really long that you're holding in the collet and you want to put a stop at the end of it, this will thread right back onto the back of the collet, and then your stop screw like this one here will just go. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, so that's going to go in that way. Actually, this should go down inside here, I think. Oh, whatever. So this one could go, here we go, like this. Yeah, and then you could just put the nut on there to lock it. And then this would thread right into the back of your collet. This is a Hardinge LS5C, which I did sell that Hardinge collet stop that I showed in the last video. Here's another one. So I'll probably keep this one. Well, here's another one here, so I don't want to keep all of these. And then this is a holder. It takes, I think, ER30, well, I don't know, these are probably ER20 collets. Only has one collet with it. But this is handy for holding small drill bits and end mills and whatnot. I don't see any maker's name on that. Well, I guess for the time being, maybe I'll hold on to this. I've got a set of collets around here, but I wanted to say I think they're bigger than these. But just in case, if they are the same size that this uses, then I'll probably just hold on to this holder for myself. All right, let's see what kind of goodies we've got in here. So you had quite a few standards laying around, so I put them all together in one lot. Got them included in this. I think, if I recall correctly, I checked, and every single one of these is a Starrett. Oh, no, it turns out these three right here are oldest Starrett ones. This 6-inch one is a Mitutoyo. This one in the tube right here, it's marked brown and sharp, and that's actually what's in it. And this one is unmarked, but it's interesting because this one looks just like this one. It's got the same style handles on it, but it's not marked brown and sharp on it like this one is. But I get a feeling that might be a brown and sharp that's just not marked for some reason. So anyways, there's a couple of radius end mills. It's a 3/32 inch one used, and this one is a 1/8 inch. And for some reason there's a ball in there. I don't know why. These are just some washers that were laying on the bench there, and I decided to include them because they're the nice thick washers that are used for the hold downs. These are really nice. Another radius 3/16. Got a couple of loose ones. Guessing that's a big one. Oh yeah. That one still had the cosmoline on it, just kind of fell off, but that one might be unused. That's a 3/8. Probably going to keep most of these anyways, so I'm not really too concerned about if they're new, old stock, or used, as long as they're still usable. And a couple more keyway cutters. Of course, you saw in the last video I got that whole tub of keyway cutters. And this tub right here is the rest of it. And it might take us more than just this episode to finish this out. There's quite a bit of stuff in this thing. It's pretty chock full. Let's start with this pile of stuff right off the top. So this is an older Starrett digital caliper. And I'm always really wary on these because they usually aren't working when I see them. And the usual story is that the person believes that they just need a battery. And I've gone through this before where, you know, then you put a battery in and it doesn't work, and then you find out that, oh, it's the encoder inside is bad and you can't get the parts, and it's basically junk. So this particular one, well, there's no date on here of when it was calibrated. It's just an ID number, so who knows. I don't even know where the battery goes on this sucker. Looks like maybe... Oh, jeez. Yeah, wonderful. This is one of the ones that use these big old batteries, 2 of them. I think I have a couple of these batteries that I bought for a, oddly enough, I think I bought them for a Starrett digital micrometer that ended up being junk, that I sold for parts off of eBay dirt cheap. Figured, you know, the thing looked mint, but it just wouldn't work. Put brand new batteries in it, and I think I let the batteries go with it, so unfortunately I might not have batteries for this thing. I also had a couple Brown & Sharps, same thing. Look beautiful, don't do anything though. Well, let's start with the easy thing. Let's see if there's any juju left in these batteries. Let's see. Well, interestingly enough, that's showing 3.1 volts. This one's showing a half a volt. Now, you don't see that every day. You'd think they would both be equally dead or equally good, but this one's dead as a doornail. This one, it's got enough juju left that it should do something. So I only need to find one more of these and I can test this darn thing. Now let's see, here are those 2 Brown & Sharp paperweights. And no, I didn't buy these out of the same estate. These actually, I acquired these from 2 different individuals over a length of time. They just happen to both be the same exact model, and they both happen to be complete garbage. Cleaning the contacts didn't work, and the end result was I spoke to the company. They put me in touch with an individual who does repairs. And that individual told me, based on the vintage that these were, that if I had already tried making sure the contacts weren't bent and causing a problem or corroded, and with a fresh battery, that if they don't work, he said basically there's not much they could do about it, which is unfortunate. One of these I even have a case for. They sure look pretty. Pretty useless. And of course, I can't find the battery. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to wait to see whether or not those Starrett calipers work, because I cannot find another battery. Here's a little set of needle files. I can't quite make out, it says diamond needle files. Oh, well, I would say these are imports. What do we got here? It's a Fowler micrometer, 0 to 1 inch. It's a 52-222-001. This is a tenths reading micrometer. Oh, okay, yeah. So I remember this. This box has a little bit of an issue. I might be able to get that to click back in. Actually, okay, the box is fine. The hinge just popped out. Look at that. It's even got the It's even got the instructions on how to reset the 0 point if it's not matching up on here. Yeah, these actually seem to be working pretty nicely. These aren't bad. They got carbide faces. They're clean as a whistle. Alright, so these are badged Fowler, but in case there was any doubt as to whether or not these are actually imports with the Fowler name on them, listen to this. Although 0 point adjustment of digital micrometers is rarely needed for they leave the factory, through perfect process of inspection, please have your check on them before use. And then it goes on with more. According to the 10th vernier here, it looks like maybe a 1/10 of a thousandth off, which is why that last digit is not straight on. And that was just by cleaning the anvil, so there was probably a little bit of grit or something on there. And that's close enough that I'm not going to touch it. The next owner wants to get finicky with it, he can. Next up, got a pair of 6-inch Mitutoyo dial calipers. This particular pair, I bought actually a few pair off of him. This particular pair, though, were the only ones that were in the case and are actually brand new. They've never been out of the plastic. There's a... Oh, this reminds me. Somewhere over here on my bench, I've got one of these. Found one of these a while back and didn't know what it was. And it turns out that that is a tool that comes with the Mitutoyo micrometers for resetting them to 0 or reclocking them. So, interestingly enough, didn't realize that. But you can't get much better than that. Brand new in the plastic, still sealed, still has the piece of anti-corrosive paper in there, or whatever they call that stuff, right? And they are clean as a whistle. So, I'm going to make somebody a good deal on those. Next up, we got something with a little bit more age to it. This has got to be one of the earliest cases for one of these I've ever seen. It's got a couple of screws missing. Well, somebody put an oversized screw in there and cracked the wood in the process of doing it. But look at, with that old style clasp, and that's a dead giveaway that that thing's old as. The sticker says they were calibrated in 95 or due for calibration in 95, just like most of the stuff that has calibration stickers on it from this particular lot. And what's in here is a inside micrometer set, an early one. I think it's a Starrett. And this is a Starrett 124B. So what's nice is it's a really complete set. So we got 9 conventional rods, and then the micrometer itself. Huh. I'll have to look that up. I don't remember what the B set is supposed to be able to measure up to. Alright, so according to the Starrett catalog, the 124B is supposed to be for 2 to 12-inch measurement and supposed to contain 10 rods. So we've got 8, 9, so that's actually... Alright, so that's the smallest rod there. So that's 10 rods. But I'm actually not sure what this is for. Oh, you know what? This might be a 1/2-inch spacer. If I can get one out of here. In other words, the way this is supposed to work is this goes on here like this. Alright. And then I think what you can do is you can actually put this on here. And that gives you 1/2 inch, because this has 1/2 inch movement, this micrometer. And then this gives you the 1/2 inch intervals if you need to get in there. So it's got a little bit of surface rust on some of the rods. The tips look good though. So I would say this is going to be a set somebody can put just a little bit of love into, and it'll be a nice set for somebody. And we got this stuff right here, which is actually a pretty nice Brown and Sharp 0 to 1-inch mic. It's got the friction type thimble. The lock works. It's a 1/10 micrometer. This says Swiss made, so this is actually more than likely a Tessa. So it's a good quality, nice micrometer. The one thing that it has going against it right now really is just this goop that's on the frame here. That's already a nice improvement there. I'll have to be going through my micrometers soon, deciding what to keep. So in the meantime, I just keep taking ones like this and putting them in my micrometer drawer. And then we got, these are just some random hole gauges. That's a Starrett 229. Oh yeah, I remember now what was wrong with these. So this is a riot. These four hole gauges are all Starrett 229s, and they have all been ground to a taper on the end. So somebody had a specific job they needed to do. They really needed to get in to a small area. So what they did is they ground the sides so that the face is narrower. See what they did there? They did them all like that. Matter of fact, they ground so far that you can actually see they started to go right through to the inner workings there. So that's unfortunate. This one here is because of the smaller size. When they ground it, you can see they actually opened up the tube. So they're still usable, but that's certainly going to affect the value. Then there were these collets. Initially, when I was thinking of not taking a lot of the stuff, I wasn't going to take these, and then later when I ended up putting together a large lot, I added these in. So these caught my eye. They are an unusual collet. It's an unusual set of collets. They've got a threaded hole in the back for a drawbar. They almost look like they have like a Morse taper, or maybe it's a Brown and Sharp taper. I don't know. These are Royal, so these are a good brand of collet for sure. Actually, this one's marked 2 Morse taper. Well, 2 MT. I bet you that's 2 Morse taper. And this one is, now I can see this one is marked too. It's just kind of worn. So, what the heck? I wonder what the heck used a number 2 Morse taper. I guess the headstock of a lathe might have that, right? So I was also wondering whether or not this box that they seem to fit nicely into could be actually for these. But this box is, it says Cleveland, so that's going to be the Cleveland Twist Drill Company. I kind of doubt it. This actually says high speed plane type drill and countersink number 998. So that's not what this is. So, but what's in here is a set of Royal collets, 7 of them. Are they all the same size? So I don't know. I don't know what those are going to be worth. I wonder what the taper is on that little South Bend lathe that I picked up. The spindle nose. It's got to be bigger than number 2, right? Well, judging from what I'm seeing on eBay, I would say that these are easily worth $5 a piece. And with them being a set of 7, you know, maybe even instead of 35, 7 times 5 is 35, right? So I don't know, maybe 40, 45 bucks. But actuality is I'm going to have to hold on to them for right now. I'm getting sick of holding on to all this stuff just to wait and see. But the reality is that if I sell these and find out that these will fit that lathe that I've got, that I'm going to fix up eventually, I'm going to really wish I kept them. Because even if I decide not to keep that lathe and sell it, this would be a good accessory to go with it. Be easy enough to make a drawbar.